I'll give you an example. And again, this kind of falls in the line of critical thinking, and that's another video for another time if we want to keep doing this. We had, in college, we had two groups. They were each given one card. So we'll split this down. We have group 1 and group 2. And again, this kind of falls into critical thinking, but it also kind of falls into this a little bit as well. So group 1 was given a card. And these are scientific teams. And then group 2 is given a card. And group 1 didn't know what group 2's card said and vice versa. So they said there was I think it was 30K oranges. And we opened the floor up to discuss and negotiate whatever. And group 1 said, there's 30K bundles of oranges that we need because with our scientific discovery, we found a way that if we can get the outside of the orange, we can mash it with something else and we can cure cancer. We can cure skin cancer. So we need those 30K. Well, then Science Team 2 says, hey, wait a minute now. We need those 30K of oranges because we've discovered a new way that if you take the core, the inside of the orange, we can solve global warming or solve another cancer, just to keep it simple. But in both processes, it ruined, when they got the inside, it ruined the outside. And when they did the outside, it ruined the inside. So it wasn't a sharing situation or whatever. And so we're in this group, and I want to say it's like a classroom of 20. So we got 10 and 10. So we got 10 people over here. And I'm on team 2. So there's 9 people over here. And then there's a little old coach over here. And they're just yelling at each other. We need them here. This cancer's more important than this cancer. And they're dropping numbers and they're making stuff up. Blah, blah, blah. And the teacher looks at me and she goes, my name's Brian, by the way. So she looks at me and she goes, Brian, you look disengaged. What's wrong? Why aren't you partaking? Why aren't you just, why aren't you arguing for your team? And I go, because right now there's no point. Nobody's listening to one another. It's all about me, me, me. I go, you've tried to put us into a no-win situation, but this is what you do. And she goes, well, fine. What would you do? I go, okay, well, there's 30K. Let's split the teams. So we have group 1. That's a terrible G. We have group 1. We have group 2. So we got people from 1 and 2 that are going to group 1. And we have people in 1 and 2 going to group 2. We split the oranges. Each of them get 15K. We work together to see if there is one solution that you can save the core of the orange. So on this one or whatever, because they need the shell. We want to see if there's a way that they can save the core. Maybe with the help from group 2, they find another solution. Same thing's going on over here, but reverse the problem. Okay, they still are going to get the core or the middle part, but they're going to try to find a solution to save the outside. And if it doesn't work, well then, hey, you still get 15K oranges to work on your cancer problem, and you still get 15K to solve on that. I go, so both teams, while it's not the full 30K or whatever, you still get 15K, you're still making progress, and maybe next year to make a better batch. But at least you can try these 2 different samples to hopefully find a solution that works for everybody. And the bell rang, or I don't even know if the bell rang in college, but time ran out, we had to go, and we left, and I was about to flee out the door, and teacher pulled me aside, and she was just like, I know we didn't get to break this down, and I won't see, I think we're going on holiday or something like that, some break. So she basically was like, I like what you did there. You looked at the entire picture, you heard both sides, and you came to your own conclusions. You didn't think it had to be one way or it had to be the other way. You found a third way. And while it might not have worked, it could have. And if it didn't work, we really didn't have anybody to blame but ourselves. And I was like, exactly. But it took me as like a whole being to be able to say, hey, I'm willing to be on the outside with my own opinions. I'll speak up when I'm ready. And I waited for the moment. I spoke up and gave my discussion and said my reasonings. And everyone went, okay, I can get behind that. That works. Sometimes you got to be that person that stands on your own 2 feet, has original thought. And that's kind of the same concept as being single. Sometimes you got to be okay with being alone. Sometimes it actually is going to lead you to some great moments, some great thoughts, some great creative, ingenious whatevers. But you got to have that confidence enough to be okay with being alone.